Now we are ready to look at the orientation tools and discover ways we can align our data to simplify extraction. If we wanted to extract on the building walls, it would need to be in an elevation view. The floor wall method will make this easy to accomplish. CloudWorx analyzes the cloud points around the points you pick to try to create best fit patches using those points. The intersection of these planes from the patches become the origin of the new UCS. It's important to note that using hard surfaces that are smooth are ideal references for this tool to work effectively. If you pick rough surfaces, like grassy areas, most likely the surface would be too uneven for patching tolerances to be met. The same is true for rough surfaces on exterior walls, like the stone you see in this data set. But in this point cloud, there's no better option from the stone, so it'll have to do. So let's select floor wall and then check that point snap is enabled. If it is, node will be displayed when the selector is hovering, and we will see these trailing green crosses over the points as we move the selector. Next, we pick our floor point, and I'll pick the smooth area here on the paved surface, and then our wall point. So the point of doing the floor wall method is to create a new user coordinate system which is aligned with the front elevation of the structure or surface we are working with, and also to save the UCS for later use. We want to check that the x-axis is parallel to our building elevation, so we'll use the Align View tool to view the building from the front. We're now viewing the XZ plane of the new UCS. Let's use the view cube to switch to top view. We're now viewing the XY plane of the new UCS, so we are viewing the building from above. Note that the view cube may show a different direction that is coming from the world coordinate system, even though we're viewing the data using the new UCS. If we don't like what we see here, we can just start over and try for a better alignment. Now let's save this new UCS by clicking the Save UCS button in the orientation panel and then name the UCS. Our new UCS is now saved and can be recalled at any time. We now have two coordinate systems, the WCS and our new UCS. We also have the ability to switch between the two in the coordinate system drop down below the view cube. We will now use 2 points method to create a new user coordinate system which is aligned with the front elevation of the building. The 2 points method allows us to pick points at either end of the elevation, which is a better way to align the UCS to the building. Click the UCS drop down and select 2 points. We're now prompted to pick the origin point. Point snap should still be on, and we pick a point towards the left side of the elevation. We don't have to worry about picking a smooth surface because CloudWorx is not trying to fit patches. After picking the origin point, we should be prompted to pick the point that will define the x-axis. Pick a point towards the right side of the elevation. After picking both the origin and the direction of the x-axis, a new UCS is created. We can now check the new UCS by using the view cube to select top view. We will zoom into areas along the elevation and check that the x-axis is well aligned to the building. If we're not happy with the orientation, then we repeat the process. Now let's save the UCS we created. Since this new UCS is aligned with the building elevation more accurately than the UCS from the floor wall method, let's delete the UCS that we created previously before renaming the new one. Right-click on the saved UCS and delete it. Click in the new UCS and override it with a new UCS name. Set current and hit OK. Now let's try the wall method. We are prompted to pick the first wall and then the second wall. This method will place the origin at the intersection of the 2 walls we selected. And now let's try the wall method, which only requires a single point to be selected. This aligns the XY axes to the patch of the wall, so this means that the Z axis is actually coming out of the building. This is useful for surfaces that are not vertical. I will cover slicing in another video, so let's move on to change origin. With this tool, the orientation of the coordinate system is unchanged, but the origin is moved to the pick point. The last tools we're going to cover are plan view and elevation view. Clicking the elevation view changes the y-axis to the up direction. Clicking it again toggles the x and y axes. With the z-axis coming out of the building, we can use Align View to set our view perpendicular to the selected elevation. Plan View sets the z-axis to the up direction. Clicking again toggles the x and y axes. With the z-axis pointing up, we can use Align View to set a plan view aligned to the UCS. And that concludes the features in the orientation panel of CloudWorx.